I'm here this morning with Don McLean from the Inland Fisheries of Nova Scotia. Don's the director and a perfect person for us to talk to today about the different angling opportunities that are here in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Don, can you tell us about what we're doing and where we are today?
This morning, Jamie, we're fishing Number 20 Dam, and it's a site that our department stocks with rainbow trout. And we have this open basically all year round for fishing for rainbow trout. And it's a very popular fishery. We're right in the middle of the town here, and it creates a great opportunity for people to get out fishing, you know, that maybe they can't get back in the woods, that sort of thing. So it's a very urban opportunity for angling. And the fish do very well in this pond. We've been stocking it for quite a number of years, and fish hold over very well. A lot of them are caught during the season, but some of them hold over. And I just heard this morning talking to another angler of a 3-pound and a 5-pound trout, rainbow trout caught here this spring. So
that's great. We're going to try to look for one of these 3 or 5 pounders together.
That's what I'm looking for.
And well, thank you very much for having us here in Sydney.
Glad to have you.
Having a fantastic time.
Okay.
Let's get one up. Fish on. Yeah. The wind really picked up here, so fishing kind of slowed down. We changed lures. I threw in something brighter, see if I could draw the fish's attention, and sure enough, we got another Sydney rainbow. Yeah. See the bright spinner there? You can't miss that one. And this fish didn't miss, so smaller fish. They're all, regardless of the size, these fish sure fight well. These fish do give you a good fight, and they're delicious eating. Look at that. That's what we're using today, just this super duper. It's a piece of bent metal with a hook on it, and these fish love them. So I'm gonna get this lure back in the water and catch another rainbow trout here in beautiful Sydney, Nova Scotia.
One of the reasons Nova Scotia has such great fishing is because of the stocking program.
I'm here with Sean Neary. Sean, you run the Margaree Fish Hatchery, and we've had a couple days to explore Nova Scotia, and the fishing's just been fabulous. We had to see one of the reasons why it's so good, and it's because of hatcheries like yours.
That's right.
Could you tell me a little bit about your hatchery, Margaree Fish Hatchery?
Yeah, well, the Margaree Fish Hatchery is a hatchery that raises Atlantic salmon and brook trout for the Margaree watershed. It started operation in 1902, so it's the oldest fish hatchery in Nova Scotia. And we raise fish for conservation and enhancement of the salmon and trout stocks to keep a healthy population of fish in the river so that people can continue to enjoy the fish. I guess you could say that the economic side of it as well. In a small community like this, it's important to utilize your resources and have a fishery. It's just good for the community all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we go for a little tour of the hatchery, and we can see how things work, and we can talk more about everything that goes on here at the hatchery.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Sean, can you tell us how they do this, how the hatchery works from start to finish?
Yeah, well, it's a year-long process. It starts out in the fall when we collect our brood stock from the river. We're raising all Margaree River stock here. So our Atlantic salmon, when the fish come back to the river to spawn, we collect the adults, what we need for the number of eggs we need. Fertilize the eggs with the milk from the males, and the eggs will start incubating in the hatchery. This usually takes place around November. It's the same process with our brook trout, and that also happens in the fall, and that's about a month earlier, usually around October, and the two spawnings usually overlap as well. So once we have the eggs, then through the winter we're caring for them and allowing them to incubate. Our setup here at the hatchery is a flow-through setup, so we're using natural brook water. This brook behind us here that flows into the river is a tributary to the Margaree, and so we're using natural brook water. We're trying to keep it as natural as possible. and we're going with ambient water temperature as well. So whatever's happening in the, I guess in the natural brook is happening in our hatchery as well. And that's important so that the fish keep up with all their natural cues, and they keep their instincts for when we release them down the road. Usually we'll start releasing our salmon in the fall as a pair. They'd be about 7 months old by then. And we'll also release some in the spring as smolts. And the smolt is the stage where when you release them, they'll travel right to the ocean. So we're releasing them one day and they're probably at sea the next. So, and it's just it's a year-long process, and it takes a lot of work, and you can't leave your guard down for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And when these salmon leave here, how far do they travel out in the ocean?
Well, the Margaree stock are heading right up to Greenland, to the feeding grounds off of Greenland. So when the little smolts go out of the river, they're going to travel up there or migrate up there. They're going to feed in the ocean, become an adult, become mature fish, and then they'll return back to the river of their birth and to continue their life cycle.
What type of numbers of salmon do you put in the watershed, and how many of those fish that you put in survive?
Yeah, well, we raise on average about 150,000 Atlantic salmon and about 100,000 brook trout. Now the salmon, we raise them to 2 stages, the pair stage and the smolt stage. So the survival rate on those is not it's a hard number to calculate, but what we do know is when the fish return from the ocean and we do swim-throughs and broodstock collections, we're seeing on average about 20% of the fish in the river are hatchery fish or started at the hatchery, and we know that because the adipose fin is clipped. So this river here has you know, in good years a run of 5,000 or 6,000 fish. So to have 20% of that we're happy with that number, and hopefully it'll stay around there. So the survival rate, you know, from the time they're let go in the river, they got to migrate out of the river. In some cases, the pair have to live for another year in the river system. They go to sea and come back. It's a small survival rate.
And it's a long trip for them to make as well.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, thanks so much for giving us a tour today. All this fish talk is getting me a little crazy. We got to go have a couple casts and see if we can catch ourselves a speckled trout.
Well, good luck.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You're welcome.
Take care, and we'll see you next time we're back here.
We're waiting.
Didn't take long for a fish to hit. This one's swimming towards me. Now you're down here in Sydney, you're allowed to take 5 of these fish home for dinner. It is a put and take fishery, and as Don was saying, they do stock the lake several times a year, so you don't have to worry about coming down here and not seeing fish. We're definitely not having that problem today. Oh! We could do this all day. Look at that fish. Beautiful trout. There we go. Beautiful rainbow trout here. Gotta love them. These fish are truly beautiful. They're good eating. They fight hard, and hey, they can really make your vacation. Catch some more trout here on Big City Fishing.
Coming up, Amanda shows us the Mepps lure.